is up, guys? EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my DVD collection for 2016, Sci-Fi Part 1. So let's get started. So first we have The Sixth Day from 2000. Underrated film with Arnold Schwarzenegger about cloning. I really like this movie. I've seen it a few times. Up next we have 12 Monkeys, a great film directed by Terry Gilliam from 1995 with Bruce Willis, Madeline Stowe, Brad Pitt. Fantastic performance by him. Yeah, just a great movie. Up next we have Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey from 1968, my all-time favorite sci-fi film with Keira Delea and Gary Lockwood. The soundtrack, the visuals, just everything about that film, just fantastic. Up next we have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from 1954, special edition with Charlton Heston. Up next we have AI, Artificial Intelligence, of course, film directed by Steven Spielberg. That was originally going to be directed by Stanley Kubrick, but of course he died before that. From 2001, really good film with Jude Law, Haley Joel Osment. I know a lot of people don't care for the ending, but I love this film. I think it's fantastic. Up next we have The Abyss from 1989, classic James Cameron, of course. Fantastic movie. Up next on Blu-ray we have The Adjustment Bureau from 2011 with Matt Damon and Emily Blunt. Yeah, really good, tense, exciting film. I liked it a lot. Up next we have Aeon Flux from 2005 with Charlize Theron. Not a great film. I know Scott Cinnamon is a fan of this movie. I didn't grow up watching the TV show on MTV, but I've always liked Charlize. It has its moments. It's got some good action scenes. Alright, up next we have the Alien Quadrilogy. Of course, the first Alien, amazing, from 1979, directed by Ridley Scott. Sigourney Weaver and so on. Aliens from 1986, just fantastic. James Cameron. Alien 3 from 1990, one of David Fincher's first films. Not a fan of Alien Resurrection from, I think that came out in 95, something like that. Alright, up next we have the Alien vs. Predator films. The first one from 2004, not great, but I still enjoyed it. I always rooted for the Predator in these films. And I also got the sequel, Alien vs. Predator, or just AVP Requiem, from 2007. Alright, up next we have the Andromeda Strain from 1971, fantastic film from Michael Crichton, produced by Robert Wise. I don't know if the TV show The Strain was sort of a remake on that. I didn't watch the show, but the movie's fantastic. Up next we have Apollo 13 from 1995. Not really a sci-fi film, but since it's about space, I put it in this section. Of course, directed by Ron Howard with Tom Hanks, Kevin Bacon, Gary Sinise, Ed Harris. Just a fantastic film. Up next we have The Arrival from 1996 with Charlie Sheen. Good film, and I'm also looking forward to Arrival, which comes out soon. The trailer for that film looked really good. Yeah, good movie, this, directed by David Twohy. Up next we have Attack of the 50-Foot Woman from 1958 with Allison Hayes, William Hudson, and Yvette Vickers. I love these 1950s sci-fi classics. Up next we have Attack the Block from 2011 on Blu-ray. Yeah, good British, fun sci-fi horror film set in the projects in London. The inner city versus outer space. That's pretty good. Yeah, good fun movie, that one. Up next we have Avatar from James Cameron, of course. Fantastic film, my favorite movie from 2009. Sam Worthington and Sigourney Weaver. I guess we're gonna get sequels eventually, but who knows when those come out. Alright, up next we have Barbarella, Queen of the Galaxy from 1968 with Jane Fonda. The title says it all. Awesome film. Really campy, really fun. Great movie. Alright, up next we have Battle Los Angeles from 2011 on Blu-ray. Really enjoyed this film. I liken it to Black Hawk Down. The action scenes, Aaron Eckhart, good in that film. Up next we have Battleship from 2012 on Blu-ray. Not great. Taylor Kitsch, pretty good. Liam Neeson had some good action scenes, I thought. But yeah, like I said, it wasn't great. Up next we have Blade Runner, 4-disc collector's edition, of course, classic from 1982, directed by Ridley Scott, Harrison Ford. Yeah, I believe when I talked about this film in 2012, I said Woody Harrelson instead of Harrison Ford, which is kind of hilarious. Sean Young, Rutger Hauer, just one of the great sci-fi films of all time. Up next, we have Blindness from 2008. Yeah, really underrated, good film with Julianne Moore, Mark Ruffalo, Danny Glover, Gail Garcia Bernal, and Alice Braga. Film directed by Fernando Meirelles. Up next, we have the Book of Eli from 2010 on Blu-ray with Denzel Washington, Mila Kunis, and Gary Oldman. Yeah, really good post-apocalyptic story. Great ending. Liked that film a lot. Up next, we have the Butterfly Effect from 2004. One of the best things that Ashton Kutcher has ever been in. I really enjoyed this film with along Amy Smart. Yeah, good smart movie. Good effects, good storyline. I like that film. Up next, we have The Cell, film directed by Tarsem Singh. Fantastic visuals, really good performances by Jennifer Lopez, Vince Vaughn, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Came out in 2000. Really good movie. Up next, we have Children of Men from 2006. Great film directed by Alfonso Cuarón, one of the best films of that year. Some of the best shots, that long shot at the during the fight, or not fight sequence, just the escape. Yeah, Clive Owen, Julianne Moore, and Michael Caine, just a great film. Up next we have Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange from 1971, just a classic, of course. Malcolm McDowell, fantastic. Patrick McGee, one of the great films of the 70s, that's for sure. Speaking of great film from the 70s, we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind, of course directed by Steven Spielberg, from 1977. Just a fantastic movie. One of my favorite sci-fi films growing up, with Richard Dreyfuss. Just a great film. Up next, we have Cloud Atlas from 2012. Yeah, really great visuals, interesting storyline, fantastic cast. Tom Hanks, Halle Berry, Jim Broadbent, Hugo Weaving, Jim Sturgis, Ben Whishaw, Hugh Grant, Susan Sarandon. Interesting film, that's for sure. Up next, we have Contact from 1997 with Jodie Foster and Matthew McConaughey. Really good film, directed by Robert Zemeckis. Up next, we have Cyborg from 1989 with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Not one of his best, but still pretty enjoyable. Up next, we have Dark City, sorry, from 1998. One of my favorite sci-fi films of the 90s, directed by Alexis Proyas, Rufus Sewell, Kiefer Sutherland, Jennifer Connelly, William Hurt. Just a fantastic movie, great visuals, fantastic ending, just a wonderful movie. Up next, we have The Day the Earth Caught Fire from 1962, British sci-fi film from the early 60s. Up next, we have The Day the Earth Stood Still from 1951, one of the great sci-fi films of the 50s with Michael Rennie, Patricia Neal, and Hugh Marlowe. Wasn't a fan of the remake. It had some good visuals, the remake, but yeah, the original is just classic. Up next, we have Deja Vu, Tony Scott film from 2006 with Denzel Washington. Yeah, good little movie. I know Scott Cineram's a fan of that film. Up next, we have Demolition Man from 1993 with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. Sandra Bullock, pretty fun in this film as well. It has some really good action scenes, and it's kind of cheesy fun. I like Demolition Man. Up next, we have District 9 from 2009. Fantastic movie directed by Neil Blomkamp. What's his name? Sharlto Copley. Fantastic performance by him. Just a great surprise. Everything about this movie was great. Absolutely loved it. Up next, we have Divergent from 2013 with Shailene Woodley, of course. I didn't love this film. I like Kate Winslet, of course. She's my favorite actress, and I like Miles Teller. He's a good young actor. I liked Insurgent better. The second one, I haven't gotten that yet on Blu-ray, and I thought the third one, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, I wasn't really a huge fan of that one, but I'll probably get them both anyway, just to complete the trilogy. Up next, we have Doomsday, film directed by Neil Marshall from 2006. Really cool film, great visuals, crazy action scenes, just a cool film. Get back in there. God damn it. Alright, up next we have Dredd from 2012. Fantastic remake of Judge Dredd. Soundtrack is terrific. The visuals, the action scenes, just brilliant. Carl Urban was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed this film a lot. I thought it was great. Alright, up next we have Earth versus the Flying Saucers, I think from 1956. Another great 50s sci-fi film with special effects by Ray Harryhausen. Yeah, really good film. Up next we have Edge of Tomorrow, or Live, Die, Repeat. Again, the title of this film is Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah, Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt, just fantastic. Really good film from 2014 on Blu-ray. Absolutely love that film. Up next, we have Elysium, another film directed by Neil Blomkamp from 2013 with Matt Damon and Jodie Foster. Not as good as District 9, but still good visuals. I thought Matt Damon was good. Jodie Foster, interesting accent choice for her in that movie. I thought her performance was kind of off and weird. Alright, up next we have Equilibrium from 2002. Yeah, interesting action sci-fi film with Christian Bale, Emily Watson, and Taye Diggs. I didn't love this film, but like I said, the action scenes are pretty interesting. Up next we have Escape from New York. John Carpenter classic, of course, from 1981 with Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef, Ernest Borgnine, and Donald Pleasance. Just a fantastic movie. Up next we have Event Horizon from 1997. Yeah, really good sci-fi horror film with Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne, directed by Paul Anderson. Alright, up next we have The Faculty from 1998. Yeah, really fun film directed by Robert Rodriguez about a high school that gets the teachers get taken over by aliens with Josh Hartnett, Elijah Wood. Jon Stewart's in the movie. I remember him in this. Fun film. Famke Janssen as well. Up next we have Fahrenheit 451 from 1966, film directed by Francois Truffaut with Julie Christie and Oscar Werner. Really good film, that. Up next we have Luc Besson's The Fifth Element from 1997. Absolutely love this film. One of my favorite sci-fi movies of the 90s with Bruce Willis, Mila Jovovich, Gary Oldman, Ian Holm, Chris Tucker. Really loads of fun. I didn't love this film at first, but I was working at a Tower Records back in the day after this came out, and I used to watch this film all the time when I was working in the video department, and I sort of fell in love with it then. Absolutely love it. The action scenes, the visuals, stunning. Yeah, the scene where Mila Jovovich is fighting the aliens and counteracted with the opera singer. Just a fantastic movie. The Fifth Element, love that film. Up next we have Flash Gordon from 1980. Of course, Sam Jones become a lot more popular with the recent Ted movies. Max von Sydow, fantastic. Timothy Dalton, T'Pol. Just a great film. Absolutely loved it growing up. Loads of fun. Up next, we have Forbidden Planet, a classic from 1956 with Walter Pidgeon, Anne Francis, and Leslie Nielsen. Great movie, that one. Up next, we have Frequency from 2000, directed by Gregory Hoblet. Yeah, good, entertaining, intense film, sort of about time travel with Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel. Good little movie, that one. Up next, we have Galaxy Quest, I know a favorite for many people from 1999, great parody of Star Trek, of course, with Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, and Alan Rickman, who's fantastic in this movie. Sam Rockwell as well, really good. Up next, we have Gattaca. Yeah, really underrated film from 1997 about cloning with Ethan Hawke, Uma Thurman, and Jude Law. Film written and directed by Andrew Niccol. Up next, we have my Godzilla movies. The 1998 version, directed by Roland Emmerich, got a lot of flack in the day with Matthew Broderick and Jean Reno. I like this movie, I'm not gonna lie. Bit of a guilty pleasure. It has some cool action scenes, I think. I like the girl in it too, I thought she was good. And I also have the 2014 film, directed by Gareth Edwards on Blu-ray with Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, who I'm a big fan of, Bryan Cranston. Yeah, some good moments in this film. Didn't love it though, but yeah, still pretty good, I thought. And of course, I have the 1954 original, Gojira. Yeah, just a fantastic film. I also have this on Criterion Collection. I know, Sarah, if you're watching, you'll appreciate those. Maybe not the 98 version, but there you go. And last but not least, I'm going to end on the G's. We have Gravity from 2013. Of course, fantastic film directed by Alfonso Cuarón with George Clooney and Sandra Bullock. Fantastic visuals. I wish I'd seen this in the theaters in IMAX 3D, but I didn't. But I still loved it. One of my favorite films of that year. So that is Sci-Fi Part 1. Thank you for watching as always, and up next will be Sci-Fi Part 2. So until then, I'll see ya.